that as you look, page 46 to 55 are done. You need to show them to me. If you have that done today, yesterday I checked off for quite a few people in class that you had that done. If you are totally done with this, you're going to go in Google Classroom and make sure you have the polygraph lines and linear slalom done. You with me? Put your hand up so I can see that your eyes are open with me. Okay, and then we are going to be looking at Quizlet practice in Dreambox. Where are you going to find the Quizlet practice in Dreambox? So, here's kind of the week. I sent an email, as I mentioned, to your parents yesterday saying, hey, got to have this done to make sure you take the final. There's some Quizlets here, but I also put some in Google Classroom this morning. I put a couple more in. So yesterday I had, if you look at the E10b, it says Quizlet practice with that. And what you're going to notice in that is that there's a couple basic equations. This is a review video. This was from yesterday's class that I recorded. It kind of worked through solving equations. So if you're getting stuck on equations, maybe you go to that. The other place, remember, you can always go to Khan Academy and put in like solving equations and watch them solving it too. Slope-intercept form. So this Quizlet is all about doing graphs. And if you do that and you want to grab some graph paper, you want to look at that Quizlet, I got graph paper right up in front here, okay? And then there's another one with solving equations. What I want to focus on today in class is looking at any other questions from starting on page 48. You use a calculator on your computer, okay? So as we look at number 19, you have, this one is probably easier than it looks. It looks kind of yucky, and I would say number 18 is very similar when you solve that. But what you have is, I'm going to write mine a little larger, -7 is equal to h divided by 5. So the opposite of dividing by 5 is to do what, Isaiah? Multiply by 5. And I'm going to multiply by 5 here. And I'm going to multiply on this side by 5. And here I get -35. And here, if I was writing that, I might write 5h over 5. But 5h divided by 5 is simply h. And so h equals -35. My hint on number 18, if you're solving number 18, is first rewrite this as -9 equals 5n divided by 17. And the first thing I would do is multiply. Get rid of the denominator. And then do the division. You don't have to do it in one step. You can do it in 2 steps. When I take a look at number 20, the first step in number 20 as I'm taking a look at that is I need to get that 4.7x by itself. If I'm doing that, Denisa, how do I get rid of that plus 3.8? We are going to minus 3.8, so take those calculators out and take 13.2 and subtract 3.8. If you do that, and this one kind of looks ugly, but it's not that bad. What did you get, Isaiah? 9.4. See, start with these decimals. You have 4.7 times x equals 9.4. Zach, I'm going to finish solving that one, and I'm solving for x, so what do I need to do to finish? I'm going to divide both sides by 4.7. And I put it in my calculator, and it actually comes out pretty nice. 4.7, 9.4 divided by 4.7 gives us 2. 4.7 times 2, so I'm going to say that x equals 2. Don't forget to do distributive property and add in your like terms. So as I'm walking around, this is going to be the first page you need to have finished. Number 23, the answer in the back was wrong. This slope, first off, the y-intercept, I'm looking, should have been at 2. How do I know the y-intercept? This is where I can look really close at your graph and see if you have it at that positive 2, okay? And the slope in this case was a positive 2 also. Could you have written 2 over 1 as your slope? I would take that also. 28 has a y-intercept of 3. If I put that face, it's a negative slope, so this has to be negative. And the other thing I always want to think with my slope, and I might want to write this, is the word rise and run with slope. So if I was looking at that, I know it's negative, and I go over to this point, I'm going down 1, so negative 1 over 4. Negative 1, 4. Okay? If you didn't have that, make sure you have that. Make sure you're kind of going through this. Number 29, the answer was wrong there too. Again, I can see my y-intercept is positive 2. My slope is positive because it goes up. How much does it go up? Well, if I use this point and this point, I might have written 2 over 4. I would take that on the test. What if you wrote it as 1/2 instead of 2 over 4? I would take both of those, right? Just that the 1/2 is the simplified form. You will have to graph. So does anyone have questions as you look at 30 to 33 that you'd like me to take a look at? 30 to 33. This is, again, pretty much like page 46, right, with the joke. I am going to be able to see right away, do you have the right point? Is it going up, right? Do you have the right point? Is it going up? Do you have, I'm going to be able to look at those things really quickly and tell you, nope, that's not right, or yes, that looks good. Now, all of these have the answers in the back, so hopefully you've checked them. All right, let's start here. Grand Forks Parks and Recreation preparing their ice rinks. A lot of you struggled with this on the test for this unit. So, the story says, as we are taking a look at, sorry. So we just read, they're filling it at 64 gallons per hour, and it was empty when it started. We are on page 52. 0, what would you say? 0, 0. After 1, Addie, what would you say? How much water is there? 64. After 2, what am I going to have? What? How much? 128. After 3, Isaiah, what am I going to have? You in front. How much? 192. What did you have, Casey, for the last one? Adding how much each time?
64.
64, which gives us? How much?
258. 256.
256. So that's my 4, right? So the question says, what's my slope, Alyssa? 64. What does it mean in terms of this problem, Stephen? That is going to be key thing. And in this case, we would say it's filling, right? If something's losing water, you'd say it's losing, and you don't have to put the negative with it, but it's filling at 64, so I need this. And then I really need to know what you were doing, gallons per hour. That's my 3 points on the final for that one, okay? If you just tell me 64, it doesn't answer the question. Y-intercept, Abby, you ready?
0.
0. Y-intercept is 0 when I take a look at that one. And if I'm looking at what it means, Channing, we'd say? No water when it started. Did you need something? Did you do? Okay. And it says write an equation. You ready, Kim? We know the slope and the y-intercept. So anytime I write an equation, this is what I'm thinking. Y equals mx plus n. Ready? Y equals? Slope was?
Y equals 64 x plus 0.
Yeah. What if you didn't put the 0? Perfectly fine. You're going to have it right. Right? Okay. So let's look at this next page. Again, this is where some of you have some problems. It says Kim earnings for a part-time job is a linear equation y equals mx. Oh, that's proportional, right? It's telling us it's proportional. What does that mean? I know I have to have a point down here at 0, 0. Okay? Where x represents the hours she works in a pay period m. So this is going to be x, this is my y. I have labels on both of those. I'm going to plot all those points. Well, this is 10. 3, 25, that's going to be 2, 3, oh, that's going to be like here. I'm going to see all those points, okay? It then says, so you should plot those and draw a line. So then it says, sketch a graph of the ordered pair shown. Using the information, answer the question. What's the slope? Well, if it's proportional, m, the slope, the rate of change, so they use all those words on the final, the rate of change is going to be y divided by x. So, let's try a couple of them. Please, in your calculators or on your computers, stand up if you need to. If you need to walk to the back, I'll have you do that. I need you to stay awake for this. As we do this, I want you to take like 25.5 and divide it by 3 and tell me what you get. Take 93.5 and divide it by 11. Someone else is going to take 127.5 and divide it by 15. Take out those. The thing is, as we look at it, our slope is going to be 8.5. And then it asks, what does that mean? And it means what, Keon? That she's making, and we probably say 8.5 or $8.50 per hour, okay? So Peyton, it says, well, what's my y-intercept then? Right? Where's our y-intercept if it's proportional? 0, because what? If you work 0 hours, how much you get paid? $0, right? Which makes sense, it's proportional, right? So thinking through these, so when you take that final, you're going to be kind of thinking about all these different things as you look at it, okay? As you look at that next page, again, you will have to compare a table and an equation, or like a table and a graph, or an equation and a graph. So as you look at these, they are going to ask you, determine which has a greater rate of change. My suggestion, tell me the m for each one. Because then it says explain, right? Here it says determine the smaller rate of change, greater rate of change, initial value. Any questions as you are looking at those? And we could do one of them, or we could look at them if you're struggling with those. D of 41, what is my slope? So in the graph.
Oh, the graph, sorry, not the table.
Yep.
2.
Graph is 2. And she said the slope here was 3. I agree, it is 3. We're looking at 3. So I should have circled A, and I can see that you have the 3 behind it, right? So as you do the other ones, I should see the same thing. When you circle it, tell me the M. In question 42, 43, and in 44, tell me the B. Questions? At Jackson Middle School are going to be looking at these. Here, for Spencer's printing, they gave you an equation. They did not give you an equation for Beaton's. Let's write an equation right now. Right now, I want you to write an equation up here. Y equals, tell me the rate of change plus how much. Does it require you to do that? No. I need you to do that right now. And then I want 3x plus 125. What's the same in those two things, Michael? The y-intercept is exactly the same. So I'm going down here and says, if we graph both situations, which one's a steeper line? Does y-intercept have anything to do with steepness? No, that's slope. Oh, so which one has a bigger slope? And no x's with slope. No x's. It is simply a ratio, a number. So which graph has the bigger, steeper line? We would want to say Beaton's, right? Nope. Spencer's, right?
Yeah.
Spencer's, and our reason would be because 4 is greater than 3. Right? Something along that one. Okay? And now it says if we graph that, how would their y-intercepts compare? Well, we just said that their y-intercepts were what, Parker? Their y-intercepts were exactly the, we're looking at this one here and this one up here. We notice those are? So the 125, here's my y-intercept, and 125, here's my y-intercept. So we notice that they are exactly the same. So if we graph them, how would their y-intercepts compare? They are the same. Both 125 to start, right? Which of these are linear? Connor, which ones are linear if we're thinking about that? Equations is linear. They are both. You're asked to give a reason. The reason might be something like they are both in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is a form that will always be linear. They have constant addition. Graphed, they are a straight line. So, today in class for the remainder of the period, you need to make sure all of this is finished.